All right, welcome back to Central Valley Buzz, everybody. I'm your host, Chuck Leonard. Sitting here with me now, Mr. Michael Bogart. What's going on, buddy? How are you?
Doing great,
nice
Chuck.
to see you. What are we
great.
talking about today?
Well, I wanted to follow up a little bit on what Mike Reynolds had just talked about, and this whole craziness that's going on in our country now.
It's not going to stop. It's not just our country.
Well, that's true. That's true. And of course, the tragic events of Dallas and some of the Baton Rouge, Minneapolis, those places. I thought we ought to talk a little bit. I wanted to talk a little bit about racial reconciliation and making some sense of bringing people together and so on. And my contention is, although Christians have not always lived up to racial reconciliation, that the biblical information, the New Testament's all about that sort of thing. And so this whole thing of Black Lives Matters, obviously all lives matter, and from a Christian perspective, all people are created in God's image and matter. And so I wanted to say, and this is my personal thing. I want to say thanks to the pastors in Fresno that were down on Saturday at this rally. They really moderated the whole thing. I don't know whether it was ever going to turn violent or not. I kind of doubt it. But the fact that some of the black pastors, friends of mine here in town, were there making sure that people stayed within,
keeping people calm.
Keeping people calm.
Letting them know what the real reason they should be out there for.
And those guys, some of those pastors here in town, they deserve a lot of recognition for what they have done, not only on Saturday, but for many, many years in this town.
Awesome.
They are fabulous men of God and very much worthy of respect.
I live right around the corner from there, and it was a madhouse down at Blackstone and Shaw.
Oh, I know. I was at my son's birthday party and I tried to come up Highway 41. That didn't work.
So what are we talking about today?
Well, that was pretty much it. I wanted to.
That's all? That's all you got?
Yeah, that's it. But the whole idea, I think that it's time that this country seriously decided to come together in terms of, instead of splitting people off into racial groups and ethnic groups and religious groups and all this kind of stuff, it's time that we came together. And I would like to think that
you'd think America we would, right?
Well,
that's what we're all about.
Supposed to be what we're all about, e pluribus unum, right?
Right.
And it's supposed to be what Christianity is all about, that there's neither Jew nor Greek, male nor female, slave nor free, but all are one in Christ Jesus. That's in the New Testament. And yet we don't live it out. And I'm kind of thinking that it's high time, well, I'm sure I'm not the only one, but it's time for us to renew the call for unity. And I think that's a key element in this little segment I call 21st Century Faith.
Right. Well, it's not like this is just started, like this just came around. This has been going on for a long time. And when we think we've made big strides, I look at the things that are happening right now, and it makes it look like we really haven't.
It's almost like everything that Martin Luther King was working for has kind of just been undone, or at least it's coming unraveled. I don't know that that's people's intention, but we're becoming more polarized, not less. And I don't want to, I'm not trying to defend the white community or anything like that, because I know that there are reasons why people are upset. Sure. Obviously, you talked about, people being pulled over and, police, targeting certain groups of people and so on.
We've had it happen locally, too.
Yeah, and I've never had that happen to me, but I have friends of mine that talk about it as a regular occurrence. But we have to get beyond this rhetoric and all begin to work together. Otherwise, I think our country's going to come apart. And so that's pretty much what I wanted to talk about
there's
today.
There's people in this world that would love to see America come apart.
Well, certainly.
Certainly.
Do you think some of it's being engineered from overseas? I mean,
don't you start on that kind of stuff. You stick with the Bible, buddy.
Yeah, okay. Well, and I don't have any way of knowing whether it is or not. But at the same time, I think that one of the great unifying forces in this world is the Christian faith, and it hasn't always been lived up to, but it certainly has that potential. And as somebody who's traveled many, many countries, there is a brotherhood of Christians all over the world that's completely colorblind.
Religious faith around the world is much stronger than what I see here in the United States.
Oh, certainly. Yeah, the Christian church in developing countries is mushrooming. And you and I have talked on this show that...
Because some of those countries have seen it real bad. They've seen it worse than what it is here in America. They want salvation.
They want to turn to a God who's in charge of the big picture. Whereas here, I think Americans kind of figure, we've got this. Who needs any supernatural help? And there really is a different cultural perspective on those things in different parts of the world. That's why the religious share of American population has been declining in the last 5-6 years. Something
I'm
like
sure
that.
it's been longer than that, Mike.
Yeah.
Tell people about your book.
Well, and one of the things that I've done, and I feel like a broken record on this show, but this 45-minute Bible, you've remarked how the Bible's such a big book. People are intimidated by it. This little book gets you into it, gets you into the major themes.
And it doesn't have the thous and the thus, and it's an easier read.
Right. I tried to write it as modern Americans actually speak. So it's a great deal. Go on mindcuisine.com. You can order it. I'll even give a free copy away today to the first person that emails me at mike@aspectministries.com.
Awesome. A 45-minute Bible as opposed to a year-long read. Not a bad deal. You read that, and then I think you read this, and then if there's other things you want to find out about the Bible, you can go right to it, not have to read all the way through.
Chuck, I don't even need to come in anymore. You just do this for me every week.
Well, hey, I want to talk about some of your other books real quick. You have Understanding Islam,
right?
Really popular book right now.
Yes,
also Understanding Mormons and
Jehovah's
Witnesses.
And the New Age.
And New Age there.
Yeah.
It's mindcuisine.com. Go there. And if you see Mike around town, tell him you saw him right here on The Buzz. We're going to take a quick commercial break. We're coming right back with pancakes, darn it.